Ladies and gentlemen, this session is taking place to give you the key feature of the new methodology developed here in Eni in order to assess the carbon footprint of our energy products. Before starting, let me say that we have developed this methodology considering advices from experts in academia and verified that it has been applied consistently by a third-party independent assurance provider. More details on the methodology are available in a technical document published in our website. It is well known emissions coming from oil and gas direct operations are only a small part of the overall amount, that are mostly generated outside our facilities and relates to the final use of energy products, where currently there are numerous approaches for the accounting and comparability could be an issue. In a context in which a standard is not yet available for our sector, we applied a transparent and comprehensive approach that includes both direct and indirect emission contributions to effectively tracking our performance through the energy transition. This approach is comprehensive of all the businesses of the company and accounts for all the emissions related to each energy product right across their value chain. Here we recall the three indicators associated with our methodology. The first one is net carbon footprint, which represents the overall Scope 1 and Scope 2 emission associated with Eni's operations, net of carbon sinks. The second one is net absolute greenhouse gas life cycle emissions, which represents the overall Scope 1, Scope 2 and Scope 3 associated with our product and activities along their value chain, net of carbon sinks. The third one is net carbon intensity, which represents the ratio between the net absolute greenhouse gas life cycle emissions and the energy content of products sold. These consistent datasets of indicators allow Eni to assess companies' performance according to the decarbonization targets and monitoring the effectiveness of the actions undertaken in the medium and long term. In the following sections, we will describe the fundamental features of these indicators, with particular emphasis on the extended boundary that they cover, and on the approach used to calculate energy sold. Our life cycle greenhouse gas assessment includes all energy products managed by Eni and considers all of their impacts throughout their entire value chains. We are talking about oil, gas, electricity, and also new bioproducts coming from circular economy businesses. For each of these products, the methodology accounts for all the material sources of greenhouse gas emission along the value chains, in accordance to a well-to-wheel approach. The scheme adopted tracks each product, starting from the production and then moving to transport, transformation, distribution, and finally to the end use of energy product by final customers. As already mentioned, we use a distinctive extended boundary approach for quantifying energy product volumes. So let me show how does it work. Let's start with the production. Our upstream products are delivered both to third parties and Eni assets. They pass through transport, transformation, and distribution, both within Eni and third-party facilities, until they are delivered to final customer. All emissions generated within the highlighted segments are accounted in our methodology. But our mid-downstream business also deals with products supplied by third parties. So we include also these volumes in the accounting that are produced, transported, and sometimes refined by third parties before being sold at the end of the chain by Eni to final customers. In this way, all emissions generated by energy products managed by Eni are accounted along their value chain. This is an important point and is a major difference to other approaches, which mostly consider net volume accounting, that is focused on the largest factor segment in a given energy chain, or only on upstream production. The net life cycle greenhouse gas emissions published today is a new metric that we will use to track our performance. In line with this, we are enhancing our disclosure to include emissions based on our new comprehensive approach. The key differences with our standard reporting are, for Scope 1 and 2, we move from a 100% operated approach to an equity accounting. This means including also our share in not operated asset in the upstream and along the chain, such as our share in ADNOC refining. For Scope 3, we extended our boundary to include all the emissions associated with our mid-downstream energy products, excluding those coming from our own production to avoid double counting. Of course, we will continue to publish all the other metrics aligned with the Greenhouse Gas Protocol and international standards, also for monitoring our previous decarbonization targets. When we refer to the carbon intensity of energy products, the way to define energy is a relevant aspect. In our approach, all the products are homogenized on an energy basis, following common rules for the conversions. Among the other features, it is worth noting that the reference unit we have chosen for renewable electricity is the physical energy content, as opposed to the partial substitution factor. This adopted standard is in line with current International Energy Agency method for accounting renewables, and it has been also recommended by independent experts. Finally, let me share some highlights on our peer review process. This has involved both independent experts from Imperial College for scientific advice and a third-party assurance provider, RINA, for the verification of results of the consistent application. For scientific review, highlighted that our methodology allows us to achieve an accurate assessment of lifecycle greenhouse gas emissions, while the assurance provider verified the correct application of the methodology for the 2018 baseline. Moreover, we will continue to actively collaborate with our stakeholder and the industry to define a common standard among the sector, in particular working with the Science Based Targets initiative. In the report released on our website, you can find more details, including the independent scientific opinion. Thank you for your attention.